I am Papa Snap, and these are my favorite No Such stories. Whipped up, drawn, and dramatized by Tomi Ungerer, and published by Tomiko, a division of the Roberts Reinhardt Publishing Group. Bunny Bunsen Brittle goes fishing. He has no permit. Who cares? There are no fish. After a violent argument with his parents, young Arson Twitch ran away from home, taking along the family tub. He set out to sea. After 3 weeks and 2 days of nothing, he tried out his slingshot on a battleship. Sir Spiffy Loin is famed for his daring exploration of far-out jungles. He hunts down wildflowers, which he captures and tames. On the western slopes of the Kilimanjaro, he finally discovered the rarest of them all, the giant carnivorous Pedophagia spinatus. After countless adventures, Sir Spiffy Loin managed to return with his prize. At last, following years of relentless work, he was able to train the plant to perform various acts in public. The four Tremblance brothers, Fester, Fister, Faster, and Foster, loved to blast their helicons. It sounds terrible. All the tenants of the building they live in had to move out. They just could not stand the hideous noise anymore. "Great," says Fister, the oldest brother. "Now we have the building to ourselves." Mr. and Mrs. Caboodle went to town to purchase a new nest. They bought one for sale from a local nidologist. It was a brand new model which came with plumbing and ready-laid eggs. The Caboodles had it promptly delivered to the tree they owned upstate. But the nest fell apart in a week. The eggs, which were rotten, started to leak. The plumbing was useless since it just consisted of a piece of pipe with a spigot. "Well, that's what happens when you start spending money," reflected Mr. Caboodle sadly. Mr. Maroon Morsel gave his wife Retina a steamroller for their 20th anniversary. She uses it to iron out her laundry and flatten pizza dough. They drive it on weekends to visit Mr. Morsel's bedridden mother who lives in the mountains. When Mr. Slopgut visits his favorite restaurant, he orders everything on the menu. The other night, he put on so much weight during his meal that he crashed through the floor on his way out. Mr. Lido Rancid went to see his doctor, Stigma Lohengrin. "Doctor," he lamented, "I can't breathe. I feel clogged, and my thorax is peppered with pains." The medicine man took him into the X-ray machine and pondered over the patients inside. "There is a pickle jammed in your vena cava, and the gangliated cords of your sympathetic are all tangled up. Here is your prescription," said the doctor. "It is a pickle tune. Sing it 3 times a day before meals. Goodbye." The prescription did not work, and Mr. Rancid got much worse. Now he has already worn out 2 beds and 3 nurses. Mr. Limpet is blind. Mrs. Limpet is lame. They are old. They are happy. They have each other. Uncle Rimsky never believed in dragons until he discovered one behind an abandoned tractor. It was weak, limp, and shaky. Uncle Rimsky took it into his home and fed it with matches and kindling wood. This ingenious diet soon restored the dragon. The grateful beast now works very nicely lighting Uncle Rimsky's cigars, starting the fires in the morning, and keeping the dishes hot. Every morning, Mr. Tubersprout runs to the station, and every morning he misses the train. In 7 years, he hasn't managed yet to get on the train. Well, this station clock is always 5 minutes ahead of mine, he exclaims. So at least it keeps me from going to work. Zink Slug bought a new car. It had lots of cylinders, coordinated cram-notch gears, coupled crunch brakes, 2-speed grinders, Cobra upholstery, an electronic police detector, strobe headlights, and a quantity of whatnots. It makes him feel very good. But the day he rammed into a tree, it made him feel very bad. After a bitter fight, Ace Captain Vertigo's plane was hit. He had already abandoned his machine when he realized that he had left his parachute at the canteen. I promise this is the last time I'll forget my splash. Holy kayak! Exclaimed Andy Rondak as he returned from the supermarket on a Wednesday afternoon after a hard day's work at the ice cream factory 4 miles down the road, second turn to the left after the pink gas station, which is now under new management since nobody around here uses any gasoline due to the fact that all the traffic is handled by reindeers and dogs. A blessing, too, when one considers how loud snowmobiles can be, which is one of the reasons why the new management turned the gasoline station into a library for the elderly. Holy kayak! Exclaimed Andy Rondak. There is an elephant in my igloo! Every day, rain, shine, or overcast, he walks down to the shore. He sits on a rock to read or dream. He has no friends, no enemies. He lives in peace. No one knows anything about him. Not even his name. One day, Papa Snap heard of a very hungry sofa owned by a Mr. Mulch. Oh, what a wonderful no-such story that would make, he thought. That same night, Papa Snap paid a visit to Mr. Mulch and was never seen again.